Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Asia Biz YouTube channel. I'm your host, Howard Ichido Lim. Good morning to you. And today we have James Santagata on with us today. James, welcome to the show.
Thank you,
Um,
Howard.
Thank you very much for joining us. James is a Tokyo based professional coach and mentoring professional that provides coaching and top level advice to executives and career professionals looking to get a leg up in the market today. In addition to providing one-on-one coaching, he does a plethora of other stuff that I'm sure James could explain a little better than me. So, James, can you give a little bit more information about you and your business?
Sure. Yeah, so basically we're a Tokyo-based executive coaching and training service. We cover a variety of things, primarily in communication, right? So high-impact communication, leadership development, these types of conflict mitigation, resolution, and avoidance. And this is primarily done on the corporate side, which would be under the SiliconEdge brand, and also on the individual basis when your company may not pay or you want to skill up or try to develop some kind of cumulative advantage. That would be the career overdrive brand that we have as well.
Excellent, excellent. And James, you do have a lot of experience, particularly in the technology sector. I know you were a longtime Silicon Valley professional and leader, and actually, I think you were a co-partner and drove a couple of your own companies as well. And you kind
That's
of
right.
have a good understanding of how businesses is run. And then, of course, coming here to Asia and Japan, over 10 plus years of experience. So you can speak to, uh, you know, kind of what works and what doesn't work when it comes to business in Asia, because it is a separate region altogether. And besides the language issues, there's also cultural issues. So let me
Mhm.
just ask you, in your opinion, what would you give to potential individuals or businesses who are thinking about doing business in Asia? Are there any recommendations that you could give to them?
Yeah, I'd say too. First, let me address the technology side. I'd say the first thing is it's still, especially from the software side, kind of shocking. We're in what 2013. How many of these products are not localized for the market? And I mean, and then you kind of dig in there and you find out that they haven't even been internationalized. So I know there's a lot of expense, especially for startups and this type of thing, but I would say when you're architecting it, especially when you're starting with a clean sheet of paper, that's the cheapest development time of all. I would give some serious thought to the internationalization aspect of how you're going to handle locale, how you're going to handle the different languages, if it's going to be text or graphics, these types of things. That way, if or when you do decide to localize, it's not re-architecting or ripping everything apart and then regression testing. In terms of the cultural side, yeah, I'd say there's a few. One is, these all come down mostly to, I think, communication. But if you look at English, right, we consider English to be the international business language, and most people will learn that if they're going to learn a second language just because of the marginal utility. But just because someone's speaking English doesn't mean that they understand exactly what we're saying. It doesn't mean that they catch it. It doesn't mean that they even agree. So I think we need to be very sensitive how we communicate. I mean, I know American as well use a lot of slang, a lot of idioms and expressions that people don't understand or think they might, that are completely different. So I'd be very careful about using these, and also speaking slowly, clearly, using simple sentences to communicate. And the second thing is, I think within the talent acquisition side, a lot of mistakes are made, and everyone does this because they feel comfortable. Someone that speaks well or eloquently, we feel rapport, and we may think they're a better candidate. But we need to think how they actually deal, not with us, but how they interact with the local market and with the local employees. They may not be respected, they may not speak properly in their native language, etc. And frankly, I'd rather have a person that maybe has a little bit heavier accent or not as good score in TOEFL or TOEIC, but is very direct and has business insights, than someone that's very eloquent but doesn't really share what's really going on, or doesn't know what's happening. And I'd say probably the other one little follow-up with that is, there's a lot of myths about Asia, right? Hollywood myths, and we see these throughout the decades. And I'm sure there's myths about the West within Asia. But the main thing is, you want to really build rapport, especially if there's these language gaps, cultural misunderstandings, cultural asymmetries. And I think just always keeping in mind that, Asia's not, not this colonial Asia you see about from 100 years ago. And
Right,
on the
right.
other hand, it's not some cyberpunk fantasy land or Disneyland. Kids go to school, the parents have the same problem we have, kids not doing the homework, smoking in high school, what have you. And if you really understand that and take that to heart, I think immediate connections can be built which will smooth over a lot of these asymmetries, whether they're informational or cultural, and build a really good relationship from the beginning. And I think a lot of times in the West, especially Americans, are a bit poorer. Maybe some of the Latin countries, or you'd see in Spain or Italy, are a little bit better with that type of interpersonal stuff. But that's something that I would say you cannot spend too much time on. Although it seems to be a waste of time up front, it's going to really pay off well down the road.
Excellent, excellent. And yeah, that really some excellent points. And as far as the communication is, make sure that you speak a little slower, be a little more sensitive to the people here in Asia. Don't assume that just because one person from Asia has a high level of English fluency that they're going to be really good at business, and that's certainly not a proper way to vet people. And that's another good point. And also the third point you made is having misconceptions about the country you're doing business in. So all very good points. Thank you, James, for that. And finally, if people want to get in touch with you to find out more about you and your services, particularly the coaching part of your business, what's the best way to get in contact with you?
Yeah, there's three quick ones. If it's on the corporate side, leadership communication, that would be silicon-edge.com.
Okay.
On the flip side, if it's for the individual, careeroverdrive.com. And then for people, that we have an organization for the industry to introduce and also build high standards for coaching in Asia. If you're interested in coaching or training certification, or to get an industry group, that would be coachforimpact.com. That would be another avenue as well.
Hey, I like that URL, coachforimpact.com. That's really
So the actual organization is
Right.
the actual organization is highimpactcoaching.org,
Okay.
but this is the tagline.
Uh-huh.
But the idea is that the coaching is kind of a coaching 2.0,
Right.
and to bring in really value-driven, ROI-based coaching as well to
Right.
Asia.
Great. Excellent. Well, thank you very much for joining the show today, James, and we'll
Thank you,
catch you
Howard.
later. Thanks a lot.
Great, thank you.
Bye now.